if that's what we end up with, then at some point, we would probably go back to the situation where Robert's cut off and probably apply those same rules to that, would be my guess. And then if she, because it's currently not allowed, and if she wanted to make some modification to her sign, to her mural that would then fit that and whatnot, then that would likely be able to stay, and if she didn't, then it would have to go. Is that what?
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. The same way that we don't want to allow something that was illegal just because now we're allowing something else that still doesn't make it legal. I think at the same time, it would be silly to change something that's going to make hers just have to go away for the heck of it. I mean, at the end of the day, we need hers to conform to whatever we're coming up with. So it needs to be fair across the board for her and everybody else.
Well, to be clear, what she's got now doesn't fit the present ordinance.
It doesn't fit either one.
Right.
What we're talking about being new, and it didn't fit, it was illegal before. For starters, she never
And that's
got a
what started
permit.
this whole thing.
Right.
It was an illegal sign to start with, and it was brought to us on an appeal by her to do something with it, and that's where we are now. To be clear, it was illegal to start with.
And it's still worth noting that it wasn't brought up until citizens complained.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
And the city's actually being, in a way, generous or whatever, by allowing it to stay until this is all resolved.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've heard,
So she
Following
brought
the
our attention
provided
that we
that we
needed
were
something more black and white. So I would say we go ahead and do that, and to me, that if our attorneys did this, I have no problem with just adopting this as is until we find a problem with it.
well, we may need to,
Spending days and
we just
days.
got it, we need to look over it a little more
Yeah.
carefully.
Well, I understand.
In general,
Okay. We have a tendency to stretch it.
No, I know.
You know.
I know, but
Obviously solve the difference between a mural and advertising.
We're going to set a discussion on whether we stretch things out to a meeting, and then we're going to vote on that one.
Okay, so,
so Barbara, you'll carry that forward to.
Exactly.
Yeah, just kind of summarize it again as far as, you want.
Oh, summarize again. Yeah, so we, the council is generally in favor of allowing murals to exist in our city, whether they be public spaces or businesses. In the event that it's a business, then we would want it not to be a sign, meaning the name of the business not be part of that.
Okay.
And that murals, either public spaces or business without the name, would need to go to some sort of a governing body like Saginaw has put together
I had
for approval.
keep Saginaw beautiful.
yeah, that was the thing I had. If this is a sign ordinance, keeping it beautiful is not part of advertising.
What you guys do?
Can I ask that we limit it to one side of the building, not all four sides of the building?
Well, even this one's got a percentage in
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where, that will address some percentage.
Well, yeah, because we need to limit it on one side.
And what you're
If we don't limit it to one side, we pass this, then they're gonna go, well, I got a 3x3 here, I got a 3x3 here, I got a 3x3 here, and a 3x3 right here.
Oh, so you're
They're
talking
all
about
the same.
You're talking about
the sign, you're talking about the,
No, I'm talking about a mural. I'm talking if you do four sides of the building in a mural, and you go, hey, this one's 3x3, this one's 3x3, this one's 3x3.
You don't have to go before the board then.
It's
so
defeating the purpose.
so the
I don't know
sign,
why would we care?
Okay.
I'm asking, I'm not
Well,
saying.
I mean, you're making it difficult for staff to go out and enforce something if you put it on all four sides of the building.
I mean, I don't necessarily think there's an issue with restricting it to a certain percentage, but I mean, if that's what staff is.
Well, I mean, if you're saying that they can do mural signs and they paint all four sides of the mural,
Right.
how am I gonna enforce that? I mean, what's the enforcement on that?
yeah, I don't think we're understanding your.
But what would you be, I mean, if they paint the four sides of the building any color, any just solid color, you don't have anything to enforce at that point either. So if they, in this hypothetical, what what does four sides of the business being the?
I'm asking, what I'm asking is to
Mural,
leave
what
it
is-
on one side of the building, not all the way around the building.
But from an enforcement, why does that make it tough to enforce? If the four murals, and I don't necessarily think that's a good idea, I'm just following this rabbit trail. If the four murals are approved to be murals by this board and then the council, then why is that a?
Because when we get complaints, then we have to go up there and follow up on the complaint. And when we go follow up on the complaint, we have to measure each one of them. Well, this one doesn't meet, this one does, this one doesn't. So how do we determine which one we can get rid of? I mean, if y'all approve it, how do we
So
enforce it?
I think there's a disconnect. When we're saying murals, we're thinking the whole side. You're talking about a 3x3 square?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Are we putting a size on it? Are we telling them you can paint the whole wall, the whole building as a mural? I mean,
I think
what are we
that would
doing?
that would come
Yeah.
through the board.
So we're not talking the whole wall, Steve.
I can see where,
We're not talking the whole
Can
wall.
be talking
Because, well, what's already been said here is that it's a percentage of the wall.
Yeah, and
What
it's also
they're saying is in
limited,
here.
it's also limited to one mural sign per building structure.
Okay, so if we go with that, that solves that.
That's fine.
I don't have a problem with that.
but that.
Keith's about to have a problem with that.
I just wanna ask, so are all murals gonna be limited to 3 foot by 3 foot?
No.
No, that's what you can do, right?
Without approval.
The 3x3 would just be, you could do it without approval, it can just go up the same way as the windows, you don't need to come down.
Steve just wants to make sure they don't put a 3 by 3 on this wall, a 3 by 3 on that wall,
Right.
a 3 by 3 on that.
Right, yeah.
If you're
Or
limiting
multiple
one,
3x3s.
And that's where I'm going with this.
Okay, now we're getting.
Because I can tell you,
Oh, you're saying more than one 3x3.
To me, yes, if a wall's got more than one 3x3 on it, it would fall under this, where it would have to get a review, even if both of them are 3x3.
well, and this,
Yeah.
and I've seen it before, is you do this mural here, you draw a line here, you do this mural here, and then you draw this line here. Well, they're separated.
Right. No,
So,
that makes sense.
Right, but it's still gonna be the square footage per side, in a sense, or the way I see it. If you're talking about a certain amount of square feet, it doesn't matter if it's broken into.
but if we don't spell it out, yeah, they're gonna push the rule and go, hey, you can go this way.
And when we're looking at this ordinance as your draft right now, then what you need to consider is right now, you're saying they can have one per, building structure, and it can only take up 75% of the exterior wall. Is that what you want?
To me, I would think it would be, you could have as many as you want, as long as it doesn't exceed a certain amount of square footage.
75.
And I don't care if you have the square footage myself, but I mean, to
Okay.
try to clarify that.
Just like Heritage, I thought it was tastefully done when they went around and then they bend around the corner. Technically, that's two sides.
Yeah, it went all over the building.
I think that's something that the board
And then
should
it
look
looked
at and see, when they bring in a design or sketch or whatever of what they want to do, how it's gonna fit on that building, because all these buildings are different. They're not cut the same
Chief
size.
said something to add.
Just as another wrinkle to this, what if I have a sandwich shop and I write the words sandwich, soup, salads, and I run my menu down the side of my business as a
And that's
mural?
advertised. Once you did the menu, it's advertised.
If I have
You
the
did
word,
sandwich,
if I don't have the
that's
business,
great.
I don't have the business name, but I've got a description of what I'm selling written on the side of my business.
I would say we should make this as clear as we can for staff. At the same time, if this comes up, there will be a point where somebody is gonna have to interpret that decision.
Yeah, and this
So,
board could do that.
exactly. So, well, I mean, to start with, whether it should go before because I think what's starting with is whether it would go before the board and then the council, or whether it would just be a staff thing. So I think the way that is, would fall under that at some point, somebody's gonna have to look at that and say, okay, if this business is called Sandwich Shop. and
Remember,
the
Betsy said if you have to read it or interpret it, then you can't.
It's a sign.
You have to read, it becomes a First Amendment situation. If I've got to read the content or look at what,
Right, and that, I think that comes back to
And if we're gonna add that,
whatever degree they approve this. Because yes, I know, that is what she said, we have to.
we should add that and make that a sign, and I think you should also add the same thing with an image.